Brilliant. I believe that this roundtable justify us as international, as an international event. Without this, would not have been international. So we are so happy to have our Portuguese friends from the Timebanks, but I'm not going to take the floor from the moderator. Basically, I am just I'm the link between the different roundtables. So here you have Fernando. Fernando is a representative of the Sitges Timebank. For how long have you been there? For 11 years. He is a member of our uh, so the Ibero-American Association and of our board of directors, basically, from the Ibero-American Timebank Association. So Fernando, anytime you can, uh, welcome from Sant Cugat, Catalonia. We welcome you to this roundtable. Uh, with participants from different continents of the world. Today I have Eliana Madeira and Teresa Maria Branco, who are joining me today. Welcome to Catalonia. You are colleagues from Portugal. And virtually, we are so pleased to have Hairan Wang from Korea, Wang Li from China, and John Bless from the United Kingdom. We greet you from the Sant Cugat House of Culture in the Valles Oriental region. Welcome. Furthermore, we appreciate the delayed participation of our esteemed colleague Yali Lombera from Mexico and Dr. Kristen Gray, the widow of the creator of Timebanks in the United States of America and a fervent implementer of her late husband's ideal of people's well-being. Allow me, to start the conversation with our colleagues from Portugal. I present them to you. Eliana Madeira has a degree in psychology, a postgraduate degree in collaborative project management, and a master's degree in activation of psychological development. In her professional career, she worked on a project to combat poverty. She was also a research fellow at the University of Aveiro, and she taught at the Higher School of Education Jean Piaget in Almada. Since 2002, she has been a part of the social intervention project team GRAL, which she has been coordinating for a decade. She is involved in national and international projects in various areas like gender equality, migration, human rights, education for global citizenship, other economies, and community intervention. She is coordinator of the national network of the Time Bank in Portugal, and she is a member of the Lumiar Time Bank. Teresa Maria Branco, she has a degree in history. She is a teacher. Well, actually, until the end of 1999, she was in Lisbon, in Angola, in the district of Aveiro, and in the past 20 years, she's been in the Algarve, where she chaired the founding commissions of the two basic schools in Quarteira. She worked for 3 years in the Portuguese teaching services abroad, in the Ministry of Education, in what was called FAOG, and she had the position of regional director in Faro. She retired at the end of 1999, and then she created the Quarteira Time Bank branch in 2002. She returned to her homeland in Lisbon, and she began to collaborate with the GRAL and in the coordination of the national network of time banks. You have the floor.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Solamente en castellano, solamente para decir
I
que
will
no
speak
hablamos ni
only
portugués
Spanish to say that
castellano
I
ni
don't speak well
catalán.
Spanish,
Entonces,
neither Catalan, so I'm extremely sorry. I'll be speaking in Portuguese.
antes de mais,
First and
gostaríamos de
foremost,
agradecer muito
we would like
o
to
convite
Thank you
que nos fez vir
for your invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for your invitation, and thank you for allowing us to be here together and to be able to collaborate. It's a pleasure to be here with you today in these days from which we'll have new perspectives, new energy, and new motivation. These meeting spaces are absolutely paramount to revive our awareness of the value of this initiative that mobilizes us and to think of new ways to promote the full realization of its potential, of which we know there are many. Just a few words of introduction and presentation. As Fernando said, we are here as representatives of GRAAL, which is an entity that in Portugal coordinates the national network of Timebanks. The Timebanks existed in Portugal since 2002. The idea originated actually right here in Barcelona, and since then, more than 6 dozen Timebank branches have been created. So we have 23 now in operation in our country, and some are in the process of being set up. GRAAL facilitates the initial training of the teams that make Timebanks dynamic. It organizes regular meetings between the members of Timebanks in Portugal. It accompanies the Timebanks in its operation, and it develops support materials, and it disseminates also this initiative. We would like to congratulate you for choosing the theme of emotional well-being, because it's a topic of huge relevance in our society and in this historical moment in which we live. So the Eurobarometer survey that was conducted in June 2023 revealed that 46% of the European Union population experienced emotional or psychosocial problems, such as manifestations of depression and anxiety in the previous 12 months only. The pandemic triggered problems of anxiety, of worry, of fear, and of distress. So to maintain emotional well-being in these times is absolutely a challenge. The feeling of security and reassurance are broken down in this scenario of continuous and systematic uncertainty. We're facing pandemics, wars, political, financial crises, climate crisis. The characteristics of the labor market also are also adverse to help in the emotional well-being. So we have a lot of situations of insecurity and of job insecurity also, as well as abnormal and unnatural rhythms that lead people to burnout. The well-being of our societies is also threatened by haste, by this charge and dense present, as Elvira Mendes classified it at the international meeting of Timebanks in Portugal. In the last meeting of Timebanks in Portugal. So we live in fragmented societies where social support is clearly insufficient. We have individualistic societies where indifference and loneliness are on the increase. We live in a profoundly unequal world where many people live in a situation of poverty. The pressure for resilience and for people to never show themselves to be vulnerable remind us the words of the poet Fernando Pessoa. Oh, I am sick of semi-gods. Where are the people left in the world? And now I give the word to Eliana, who will be talking about the issue that interests us today.
Conseguem ouvir-me? Sim?
Okay, can you hear me? Brilliant. So despite the fact that we are aware of the potential of Timebank to contribute to the emotional well-being of the people who participate in it, it is also important to recognize also that there are limitations in the capacity of time banks to respond to all the human needs associated with health being, because they depend on multiple factors, internal, external factors, including material conditions, health conditions, job satisfaction, political freedom, personal history. So basically, so many factors. So we have 5 dimensions that are associated to emotional well-being that we believe are related with the experiences and the opportunities that are generated in the context of time banks. So these are the 5 fundamental dimensions of emotional well-being. The first one is to have positive and supportive interpersonal relationships, to feel supported and to feel that we are a part of a community. The second dimension is to have a self-esteem and a recognition of the personal worth. And also, we need to have a purpose in life, and this is absolutely fundamental for well-being. We also need to develop personally and to expand our human potential. And this is a very important dimension for emotional well-being. And finally, we need to live and to share rewarding moments that are associated with positive emotions. So we think that regarding this first dimension that has to do with the wealth generated by the Time Bank, so we have to say that this initiative has contributed to the reinforcement of social support networks, to the reduction of loneliness, to build a proximity between the people, and to reinforce the sense of belonging of people. And exploratory study that we carried out last year. It was involving a sample of 55 people, mainly women, from 10 Portuguese time banks, provided us some evidence of this reality. The members of time banks who participated in the study were asked to rate from 1 to 5 the contribution of time banks in various areas. So 0 basically meant nothing, and 5 meant very much. So as you can see in this graph, the majority of responses were concentrated between 5 and 4, 4 and 5, excuse me. So finally,
Quanto à segunda dimensão,
so as for the second dimension that is related to self-esteem, we highlight that the Time Bank values all people and their time, regardless of who they are, their age, their gender, their social origin, their geographical origin. People discover and are discovered and are valued for their individual skills, strength, knowledge, talents. So the results of this study that I was talking about, it points in the same direction, as you can see in the graph in front of you. In terms of having a purpose in life, the Time Bank has given a lot of meaning to the lives of many of its members. It reinforces the perception that people can improve other people's lives, that they can contribute to the common good, and that they can build a more humane, more fair, egalitarian and alternative realities to the current models of life that we have in our societies. So I'll share the words of a member of the Time Bank of Santa Maria da Feira that reinforces what I said before. The Time Bank made me realize that I had not finished my mission. Basically, I was reborn the day I entered the Time Bank. It really filled my life with meaning. So in terms of the fourth dimension that relates to the development of individual potential, the Time Bank offered a space that is stimulating and generative for the development of the potential of all its users. So there is an extensive and diverse range of services learned related with learning, and that clearly demonstrates the potential of the Time Bank. So basically, you can learn everything, history, nutrition, literature, languages, cook, dance, sew by machine, plants. So the data from the study that I mentioned, they show explicitly that for many of the users of the Time Bank has been a learning space and a development space. And finally, regarding the last dimension, we can say that there are countless situations experienced in the Time Bank that have the potential to generate emotional well-being. So associated with positive emotions, for example, the meetings, the walks, the dances, the contact with nature, the manual activities that we share with other people, physical activities, etc. So we would also like to share maybe a less positive result of this study. So basically, this result shows that maybe the Time Bank is not reaching its full potential in areas of daily life, of managing a daily life. So this is important also to say here that emotional well-being is compromised when people experience difficulties in reconciling their professional life with their family life, when they're overburdened and they're unable to cope with the demands of everyday life. So although the majority of the responses in this study indicate that the Time Bank has a positive impact on the daily life of people, but when we compare the results of this dimension with the other dimensions, we see that we still have a lot to do and that we can go even further. So we would like to share with you some ideas for the future. So maybe some lights and some ideas about what we could do through Time Banks in order to make them a space to promote emotional well-being for people. So one of the ideas that we believe is important is to go deeper in the evaluation of the impact of the Time Bank on the well-being of its members. We need to be able to measure this impact, and also we need to reaffirm publicly this potential of the Time Bank in terms of a community resource to promote mental health and to prevent emotional distress. And also, we believe that it is important to structure opportunities and spaces for dialogue and to learn about mental health. So we need to combat stigma, and we need to be enabled to identify and address situations of distress that require specialized care. We also believe that it is important to create learning environments for the Time Bank members in areas like stress management, conflict resolution, social skills, etc. And for this, it is very important to continue to do really well what we have been doing until now. And we will end up with a testimony from a member of the Algarve Timebank who says that the Timebank gave me, above all, a lot of joy. And now we finish here hoping that all time banks always thrive more and more. Thank you so much.